Right now, 4 separate weather catastrophes are hitting 105 American cities simultaneously, and today's setup is the kind meteorologists lose sleep over the night before. We're tracking a high-risk tornado outbreak slamming Dixie Alley tonight, a nor'easter burying New England in whiteout conditions, a haboob swallowing entire Texas highways, and a hard freeze warning dropping Denver from 70 degrees Fahrenheit to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, all at the exact same time. 100 million Americans are in some kind of severe weather threat zone as of this hour, and folks, nobody is ready for what this multi-day stretch is about to serve up across this country. Meteorologists are flat out in disbelief the Storm Prediction Center has issued a rare high-risk designation for parts of the Deep South today, which is the single highest category they can issue. And it means a major tornado outbreak is not just possible, it's expected. So let's get right into it, starting down in Dixie Alley, where Memphis, Jackson, Birmingham, and Atlanta are all staring down the barrel of the most dangerous evening these cities have seen this entire year. Memphis sits at 75 degrees Fahrenheit tonight under a high-risk designation, Jackson. Mississippi is at 78 degrees Fahrenheit with a tornado emergency already issued, and Birmingham, Alabama at 76 degrees Fahrenheit has tornado sirens ringing across the metro right now as supercells close in. These aren't your average spring storms. We're talking long-track tornadoes capable of staying on the ground for 30, 40, even 50 miles. Paired with baseball-sized hail that can cave in a car roof in under 30 seconds flat. Think about James, a retired factory worker in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He lived through April 27th, 2011, and he says the sky tonight looks exactly the same, that sickly green color before everything went wrong. And his storm shelter door is already open. The cold front slamming into the Gulf moisture tonight is the trigger warm. Humid air from the Gulf at 80 degrees Fahrenheit dew points crashing headlong into a line of Arctic air. And that collision is what builds these monstrous supercells spinning up one after another. Huntsville, Alabama at 75 degrees Fahrenheit is directly in the path of a discrete supercell right now. Tuscaloosa at 77 degrees Fahrenheit is under the most extreme tornado risk, and Atlanta at 74 degrees Fahrenheit is about to receive the worst of this line by nightfall. Y'all need to take shelter before dark. Night tornadoes are the most deadly kind, no visible funnel cloud. No visual warning, just radar and your phone alarm standing between you and something you simply cannot see coming through a dark sky. This is no time to be outside anywhere in central Alabama or northern Mississippi tonight. If you're in Memphis, Nashville, Shreveport, or anywhere across the Tennessee Valley tonight, burn this into your memory. Get your shoes on. Keep your phone charged. Know where your lowest interior room is. And do not wait for the siren before you move. Now, before we move on, drop your city in the comments right now. Tell us where you're located, and we will do everything we can to give you the most specific, up-to-date forecast for your exact area as this multi-day event continues to unfold. Now swing north, because while the South deals with tornadoes, New England is getting buried alive. Boston is sitting at 32 degrees Fahrenheit with a full nor'easter in progress. Portland, Maine is down to 30 degrees Fahrenheit with 55 miles per hour wind, gusts, and complete whiteout conditions on every major highway. Albany, New York at 31 degrees Fahrenheit has zero visibility on the interstate Buffalo. At 28 degrees Fahrenheit has freezing winds causing ice accumulation on every bridge and overpass in Providence. Rhode Island at 34 degrees Fahrenheit is dealing with coastal storm surge slamming into the waterfront. Hartford, Connecticut at 33 degrees Fahrenheit has snow accumulating so fast it's collapsing awnings and carports. Burlington, Vermont at 26 degrees Fahrenheit is the coldest point in the entire Northeast Corridor tonight. And Concord, New Hampshire has declared a complete travel ban with zero exceptions. Now swing straight west to the Great Plains, because out there we've got a third disaster unfolding. An enormous haboob wall of blowing dust is literally swallowing the city of Amarillo, Texas, as a 60 miles per hour wall of dirt drops visibility to absolute zero on I-40 and I-27 right now. Amarillo at 65 degrees Fahrenheit looks like a scene from the 1930s. Dust Bowl Lubbock at 68 degrees. Fahrenheit is under red flag fire warning with 60 miles per hour gusts and humidity in single digits in the entire southern plains from Wichita to Midland. Texas is locked in catastrophically dangerous fire weather right now. Oklahoma City at 70 degrees Fahrenheit has gusts snapping power lines and ripping rooftops. Wichita at 62 degrees Fahrenheit has wildfire threat so extreme that officials say any spark could turn uncontrollable within minutes. And Dallas at 80 degrees Fahrenheit is choked with blowing dust and smoke from fires already burning to the west. Fort Worth at 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Abilene at 72 degrees Fahrenheit and Midland at 75 degrees Fahrenheit are all surrounded by walls of blowing dirt if you're driving. I-20, I-27, or I-40 in West Texas right now. Pull completely off the road immediately, turn off your lights, keep your foot off the brake, and wait it out. Then swing north to the Rockies and the Central Plains, where the fourth catastrophe is already underway. Denver has crashed from 70 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday all the way down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. That is a 50-degree temperature drop in less than 24 hours. And it ain't nothing to take lightly. Cheyenne at 15 degrees Fahrenheit has 60 miles per hour, blizzard gusts producing complete whiteout on I-80. Casper at 12 degrees Fahrenheit has wind chills, close to negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and a hard freeze warning stretches from Colorado Springs through the northern Great Plains, threatening to wipe out early spring crops overnight. Denver at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, Colorado Springs at 22 degrees Fahrenheit, Omaha at 24 degrees Fahrenheit, Minneapolis at 22 degrees Fahrenheit. These are hard freeze warning temperatures across the entire central corridor. And any fruit trees, early garden plantings, or flowering crops that came out during last week's record warmth are almost certainly destroyed tonight. Meet Dorothy, a retired school librarian in Indianapolis, Indiana. She says she planted tomatoes 2 days ago during that record 75 degrees Fahrenheit warmth. And tonight at 35 degrees Fahrenheit, she's running extension cords to space heaters in her garden, hoping to save what she can before the freeze hits its worst by 4 a.m. Dorothy is not alone. Tens of millions of gardeners and farmers from Nebraska to Michigan planted early during that record March warmth. And tonight's hard freeze warning is going to cost the agriculture community hundreds of millions of dollars in losses before the sun comes up tomorrow morning. Shreveport at 75 degrees Fahrenheit has already reported baseball-sized hail with active severe thunderstorm warnings. Little Rock at 68 degrees Fahrenheit just had a cluster of storms rip through its eastern suburbs, and Louisville at 65 degrees Fahrenheit is watching the tornado threat creep northward toward the Ohio Valley as the night goes on. Charlotte, North Carolina at 76 degrees Fahrenheit is bracing for the next line of severe storms to arrive from the southwest. Raleigh at 74 degrees Fahrenheit has an unusually hot and humid air mass feeding supercell development. And the entire Carolina Piedmont is under a tornado watch that does not expire until 3 a.m. tonight. Now here's why you absolutely cannot look away from this forecast right now, because what's coming Wednesday through Friday could be even worse than tonight. And the Storm Prediction Center is already flagging multiple major outbreak days stacked back to back. Wednesday brings a fresh storm system over the Rockies, moving into Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and with dew points already surging into the upper 60s across the southern plains. All hazards of severe weather are on the table, which means tornadoes, large hail, and damaging straight-line winds simultaneously. Thursday takes the threat east into the Midwest and Ohio Valley, St. Louis at 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight will warm back up into the 60s by Thursday afternoon, and that dramatic temperature swing paired with Gulf moisture surging north creates exactly the kind of explosive atmosphere that produces significant tornado outbreaks. Here's the kicker about Thursday. Both the European model and the American GFS are in strong agreement on a powerful low pressure developing over Kansas by Thursday afternoon. And when two top global models agree on something like that 3 days out, forecasters take it very seriously. Friday could be the single most dangerous day of this stretch, a major low in the Central Plains, with discrete supercells firing along. I-35 puts Kansas City, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and Dallas all under simultaneous tornado, large hail, and damaging wind threats on the same Friday afternoon. Discrete supercells are the most dangerous storm mode. Each cell organizes its own rotation and can produce a violent long-track tornado without competition from neighboring storms. And Friday's atmosphere is being built precisely for that exact scenario. So from tonight through Saturday, 5 days in a row, somebody in this country is going to be under a significant severe weather threat every single day without a break. And the cumulative impact of that kind of multi-day outbreak is something we should not downplay for a single second. And remember, your city could be in the path of any one of these systems, so drop your location in the comments below, and we will make sure you get the most accurate local update we can provide as each of these storm systems develops and tracks across the country. Now let's talk about what most weather coverage skips over both major models are now projecting: 1 to 2 feet of additional snowfall across the northern plains, upper Midwest, and Great Lakes before the end of the first week of April, and that number is not a typo. Minneapolis at 22 degrees Fahrenheit, Bismarck at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, Fargo at 18 degrees Fahrenheit, and Sioux Falls at 22 degrees Fahrenheit. These 4 cities are all sitting in the deep freeze tonight with hard freeze warnings in effect. And the models show another major winter storm system dropping down from Canada within the next 72 hours. Billings. Montana at 25 degrees Fahrenheit has blizzard conditions on I-90 with near zero visibility. Missoula at 28 degrees Fahrenheit is locked in frozen fog in Casper. Wyoming at 12 degrees Fahrenheit is at the coldest point in the entire continental United States tonight. Colder than Anchorage, Alaska right now. West Coast update: Seattle at 48 degrees Fahrenheit has heavy mountain snow closing key. Cascade passes. Portland at 50 degrees Fahrenheit has flash flooding risk from saturated soils. And Spokane at 42 degrees Fahrenheit has ice and freezing mix on every bridge and overpass right now. In Southern California, Los Angeles at 72 degrees Fahrenheit looks calm on the surface. But relative humidity has dropped to dangerously low levels, and gusty offshore winds are creating elevated fire weather conditions across the hillsides and canyons. Sacramento at 69 degrees Fahrenheit and Fresno at 73 degrees Fahrenheit have fire weather watches posted right now. Here's a raw number that should stop you cold. Tonight's severe weather setup covers an area from the Gulf Coast to the Canadian border and from the Rockies to the Atlantic coast that's over 2 million square miles of active weather hazards operating simultaneously across the United States. A tornado warning is not a suggestion when that alert hits your phone. Stop everything, move to your safe room, and stay there until it expires. Every year people die because they stepped outside to look at the sky. And this is not the night for that. For folks in the nor'easter zone, never use generators or gas grills inside if power goes out. Tonight, carbon monoxide is the silent killer that claims lives in every major winter storm, and it can knock you unconscious before you realize anything is wrong. Straight talk for the hard freeze warning zone: open cabinet doors under sinks, let a trickle of water run from exterior faucets, and disconnect garden hoses right now. A burst pipe at 3 a.m. can cost thousands of dollars and flood your home before morning. Let's bring it back to the big picture for a second. 4 simultaneous weather disasters, 100 million people under active threat. A 5-day, multi-day severe weather marathon from tonight through Saturday, and winter roaring back with 1 to 2 feet of snow possible before mid-April across the northern states. The historical comparison that forecasters keep coming back to with this week's setup is the April 2011 super outbreak, the most significant tornado outbreak in recorded American history. And while we're not saying this will match that, the atmospheric ingredients in play this week are generating serious comparisons. 3 things before Friday identify the strongest interior room in your home. Make sure every person in your household knows where to go when a tornado warning is issued, and download a weather alert app that wakes you even when your phone is on silent. Remember, a watch means conditions are favorable. Stay alert and be ready. A warning means it's headed toward you right now. Move to shelter immediately, knowing the difference between those 2 words could literally be the difference between life and death this week. Here's some genuinely good news. The historic heat dome that had Phoenix at 92 degrees Fahrenheit and Texas in the upper 80s for weeks is finally breaking down, and temperatures will return to much more seasonal levels across the southwest and southern plains by early next week. This pattern hits different from a typical spring record warmth in the south feeding supercells, while record Arctic cold locks in across the north. And that battle zone running through the middle of the country is going to keep generating dangerous weather for weeks. Meet Margaret, a retired nurse in Franklin, Tennessee. She's already got her emergency kit packed, her phone on the charger, her weather radio dialed in, and she's made sure her elderly mother next door knows to come over immediately if she hears the outdoor warning sirens go off tonight. Margaret is doing everything right, and that's exactly the mindset that saves lives during a multi-day outbreak. Like this one preparation done before the storms arrive is worth 100 times more than anything you try to scramble together after the sirens start going off. Ohio Valley and Great Lakes update Columbus at 38 degrees Fahrenheit is watching for icing on overpasses. Cleveland at 34 degrees Fahrenheit has lake effect snow ramping up Cincinnati at 39 degrees. Fahrenheit has a dangerous refreezing threat as yesterday's puddles turned to black ice overnight. St. Louis at 36 degrees Fahrenheit is in a dramatic temperature crash after yesterday's severe storms. Kansas City at 34 degrees Fahrenheit is sitting in a hard freeze warning, and Milwaukee at 28 degrees Fahrenheit has gale force winds off Lake Michigan on top of sub-freezing temperatures that are making tonight feel like the middle of February. Southern Plains update Tulsa at 68 degrees Fahrenheit is behind the cold front and seeing rapid temperature drops. San Antonio at 88 degrees Fahrenheit is still baking under heat dome remnants, and Houston at 85 degrees Fahrenheit is tracking severe storm bands approaching from the northwest as the cold front pushes southeast. Here's the number that puts this week in perspective: 50 record high temperatures broken in the past 72 hours across the central and southern states. And now record lows falling in the north at the same time this country is experiencing record heat and record cold simultaneously. That's the brutal contradiction. Record warmth in Texas fueling deadly tornadoes, while record cold in Colorado destroys early crops and threatens livestock, all connected to the same storm system stretching 2,000 miles across this country. Every comment matters, whether you're in Memphis watching tornado sirens, in Boston digging out from the nor'easter, in Amarillo driving through a dust storm, or in Denver under a hard freeze warning. Your city tells us where to focus our most detailed coverage in the next update. The total precipitation picture is staggering. Most of the country east of the Rockies is looking at 2 to 4 inches of rainfall in the next 14 days. Approaching the entire monthly average for April, and flooding will become an increasingly serious issue as soils become saturated. For the Great Lakes and northern states, models now show a 1 to 2 foot snowfall accumulation developing across Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and northern New England before the second week of April. That would be a historically significant late-season snow event. Here's the bottom line for tonight, tomorrow, and through the weekend: 4 simultaneous disasters, 100 million people under threat, a high-risk tornado outbreak in Dixie Alley, a nor'easter burying New England, a haboob shutting down West Texas highways, and a 50-degree temperature crash across the Rockies. Wednesday through Friday brings the potential for additional major tornado outbreaks across the southern plains, and I-35 corridor Saturday delivers a widespread squall line from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast, and the northern states are staring down another 1 to 2 feet of snow before mid-April. In all of recorded history, the months of March and April have produced some of the most catastrophic tornado outbreaks this country has ever seen. And the atmospheric pattern building right now for the first week of April has forecasters taking a very long and very serious look at what's coming. Share this forecast with someone you care about tonight. Text your parents in Alabama. Call your sister in Kansas City. Check on neighbors who don't have weather alerts. The people caught off guard this week are simply the ones who never got a heads up. We have 4 weather disasters hitting 105 American cities at once. The Dixie Alley tornado outbreak peaks tonight. The nor'easter grinds through New England through Wednesday, and the multi-day severe weather marathon runs from today straight through Saturday with no off days. Across all of this, Memphis under high-risk tornadoes. Boston buried in the nor'easter. Amarillo swallowed by a haboob. Denver crashed from 70 degrees Fahrenheit to 20 degrees Fahrenheit overnight. 100 million Americans are in some kind of active weather hazard zone right now, and nobody is ready for 5 straight days of this. Stay weather aware every single day through Saturday. Take every watch and warning seriously the moment it's issued for your county. Check back as Friday's outbreak comes into sharper focus, and drop your city in the comments so we can track this system all the way to your doorstep.